As the coronavirus continues to send shockwave mass layoffs,
See a spike in the number of local cases.
People to fail to pay their loans.
The health climate has definitely been a season that has brought out a lot of anxiety and a lot of uncertainty.
My name is Anggit.
My name is Jessica Tanisiribio, Jakarta Cohort 2020.
We have about 140 students in our first year, and we have been running just about 6 to 7 months when the issue of COVID-19 hit. In the beginning of March, when the first case of COVID-19 was announced by the Indonesian government, we decided that it is best for the students to learn at home. So we put the students to do home learning, and we rely heavily on cooperation with parents when we are doing this. When we decided to close the school, it is the blue-collar workers who are the first liners to be affected. The field staff like the cleaners, the security, and the driver. Even when making that decision, I was asking myself and praying to God, am I doing the right thing? Is this the right decision? Is this biblical? Is this what you want? Am I being selfish as a leader? Do I prioritize the school more than I care for these people?
With the coronavirus outbreak, I'm sure the nature of all of our work has changed. So initially, one of the biggest dilemma, honestly, was how we were to balance between thinking about the needs of the business and the health and safety of our employees. Do we keep on asking people to come to work? How do we handle all these? But then I realized that both weren't actually mutually exclusive. Surely, on one side, we are never ever to take human life lightly. We must care for our employees' well-being, their safety. But on the other hand, we must also acknowledge that the company needs to keep on running if we were to continue providing for 30,000 of our employees and their respective families.
Hi everyone, my name is Grace and I am the Director of Resource Global at Jakarta, Indonesia. How this prayer chain works is that we ask them 2 questions. Number 1, what is a prayer request that you have right now? What are some things that you're going through and you're struggling with? Number 2, what is one thing that God is teaching you throughout this season? And so we're using this as an avenue to spur each other on in our spiritual growth. Also to let each other know that, you're not alone in this. You're not alone in trying to figure things out, and you're not alone in just going through the worries day to day. A lot of amazing things and a lot of amazing conversations have been happening in these group chats. Brahm, or Abraham Victor, who was part of Cohort 1 and now part of our board in Jakarta, he has a F&B business called Hangry, and he decided to use his business to provide food for the drivers that perhaps are getting laid off or don't really have much work. You can actually buy food for the drivers. And so he has provided an opportunity for us to bless our city in that way. Another conversation that we've been having is Jared and Marissa have a clothing factory, and she's actually shifted the focus of the clothing factory. Instead of making clothes, they've been making hazmat suits to support hospitals that are catering to COVID patients. And that's been really, really amazing because there is a lack of supply in hazmat suits in Jakarta.
I wanted to share about a little opportunity that started with a Resource Global cohort member and I, Sonia Weria. So we were chatting about hoping to help deliver food to medical workers in the front lines. That was really how our friendship started, and it led to us sharing our hopes, our dreams, and our mission in terms of what we want to do during this COVID-19 crisis.
Collectively, we have launched a fundraising campaign under Lighthouse Fellowship. We've also set up a fundraising platform to enable both local and foreign donations. Funds collected have been used to provide for free meals, staple food packages, as well as medical masks and suits. So far, we've been able to provide more than 1,500 medical items, distributed more than 400 staple food packages at various location ports.
quick update on the work that I've been doing with a local medical nonprofit here in Indonesia called Dr. Share. On a typical basis, Dr. Share operates floating hospitals and other innovative programs to reach remote island regions that don't have access to healthcare. At this current COVID-19, we've been privileged to be able to put a lot of efforts in fundraising support to procure PPE, helping hospitals outside of Jakarta, predominantly because of the lack of infrastructures that they face. We've been able to send to about 47 hospitals, 47 shipments, and another 62 are on the way. Secondly, we've been also working on fundraising for ventilators. Now, Indonesia is in great need and dire shortage of this unit, so we've been focusing this effort to help the epicenter, which is Jakarta, assisting the procuring and the giving of that with training in order that our hospital providers, once they get it, they're able to actually use it as accordingly.
It was not an easy decision, but I know that the school needs to be sustained and the school needs to be able to operate in the long run so that these people will not lose their job in the long run as well. I learned that as a leader, I need to be agile. I was reading from Nehemiah 4. It was about the opposition to building the temple. I learned that the people are not only being temple builders, but they are also warriors. They have to hold hammer in one hand and sword on the other hand. Nehemiah and the people were forced to adapt. And many times as a leader, I need to evaluate, stop, and reflect, and pray, and questions myself, and asking God whether my decision is right or not. In my limited wisdom, in my limited understanding, as I am trying my best, my prayer is that God will cover us.
We've also had to come to the difficult decision that us at the management level would need to take a voluntary pay cut to be able to keep our employees through this season of uncertainty. Martin Luther says that human nature is curved inwards. We're always thinking about our own needs, our own wants, our own security. But I do believe that the gospel instead calls us to look outwards, first to Christ and then to others. That we're called to love and serve others not because it's convenient, but simply because we have first been recipients of God's kind grace, of His love and service unto us.
We're really thankful for the generosity of people who've given through Dr. Share, trusting us with items to be able to distribute to our various hospitals in our network.
It's raised so much more than we ever expected, and the momentum of the things that we can do together has been incredible.
There is a lot of anxiety, there is a lot of uncertainty, but I think throughout this season, I've seen the Resource Global alumni as well as the cohorts rise up and practice what they've learned in Resource Global and see what are some ways, tangible ways that I can care for the needy, what are some tangible ways I can love the city and care for the medical staff in Jakarta during this time. And so thank you so much for praying for us. We are praying for you as well. Please let us know if you have any prayer requests that we can lift up together.